Welcome back to the Malaysia Money Matters show. It's the 7th of January 26. Our mission today is a concise, insightful deep dive into the most critical shifts in Malaysian corporate strategy, policy, and the global forces shaping our markets. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's fascinating here is that the biggest Malaysian corporate stories today are, well, they're centered less on expansion and more on restructuring and regulatory compliance. It shows a high-pressure environment.
And that pressure cooker starts with capital A and the AirAsia X consolidation drama.
Oh, yeah.
Bursa Malaysia rejected capital A's time extension request for distributing AAX shares.
Right. Though AAX itself got a little bit of a delay until January 19 for a placement. But that's not the real story here.
You mean the Toon Group sale?
Exactly. They had to finalize the sale of nearly 15% of AirAsia X to a travel agency.
And that's the absolute key, isn't it?
It is, because it gets them closer to meeting that minimum public shareholding spread. It's all about clearing the path for capital A to finally exit its, that dreaded Practice Note 17 status.
It just removes a huge overhang for them.
A massive one.
Speaking of strategic shifts, Mega Fortris made a really sharp pivot.
They did. They completely dropped their plan for a new Macau playing card plant.
So instead, they're centralizing production, adding a second line at their existing Shah Alam facility.
And this is a perfect example of necessity driving strategy. They're saving RM 11.2 million in capital spending right away by avoiding Macau's high operating costs.
And they nearly double their local output to 44 million decks a year.
It really shows a preference for domestic efficiency over international exposure, at least for now.
That cost saving is crucial. But speaking of corporate risks, we saw a major legal challenge hit HSS engineers.
A serious situation there. Their associate, HSS Integrated, is being sued by investors of the MXT Highway project.
The sukuk holder, specifically.
Right, the Islamic bond investors. And they hold, 43.33% of the RM 1.3 billion financing? They allege HSS Integrated breached its duty by improperly approving construction payments.
And if those claims hold up?
The liability is substantial. Now, the company is contesting it, but this puts a huge spotlight on professional duty standards.
Meanwhile, Malaysian enforcement agencies are intensifying their focus. The MACC has been busy.
Very busy. A major anti-corruption sweep, remanding 17 company directors.
9 men, 8 women.
And this is all tied to that alleged cartel network offering bribes for Malaysian army tenders. It shows a major regulatory push to clean up defense procurement.
And that focus is complemented by a key appointment. The Tuk Fazliziam Abdul Majid is now heading the Anti-Money Laundering Unit, AMLA.
A powerful unit. And this connects to the wider economy, where the focus remains on boosting MSMEs.
You mean the extra financing from Bank Negara?
Yeah, another RM 2.5 billion, specifically targeting first-time borrowers. And they're backing it up with a huge RM 10 billion loan guarantee scheme with CGC to share lending risks.
And the HR ministry is helping too, right, with the Lakes internship program?
Dramatically. They're offering an upfront RM 2,000 grant per trainee and cutting approval time from 90 days down to just 14.
That speed is transformational for a small business.
Absolutely. And on the policy side, healthcare. The Rakan KKM premium economy model is rolling out at Hospital Cyberjaya in the first quarter.
And then there's vaping?
A full ban is a priority for 2026, starting with the open system devices. That's a big regulatory move.
These local supports are key, especially when we look abroad, because this is where it gets really interesting. Global markets are showing strong risk-on sentiment. Chinese stocks hit a 4-year high on AI optimism, and indices in Taiwan, Singapore, Indonesia are at record peaks.
And they're just looking right past all the geopolitical noise.
They really are. But the AI enthusiasm is showing some cracks for the incumbents like NVIDIA.
Their shares are down 8% since the peak. And we are seeing direct competition now.
Yeah.
AMD just launched their MI440X chip targeting corporate data centers.
A direct challenge.
A very direct challenge. The hardware race is escalating.
And on commodities, copper just surged past US $13,000 a ton, a new record.
And this isn't a simple demand story. The surprising catalyst here is U.S. import tariffs. They're effectively locking inventory inside the U.S.
So it's tightening the global supply chain.
Severely. It's driving that record price spike everywhere else.
Wow. Finally, a word of caution for automakers.
The EV winter of 2026. Global EV sales growth is forecast to slow pretty sharply to just 12%.
And that's driven by China cutting subsidies and an expected contraction in the U.S.
Yeah, about a 15% contraction in the U.S. due to policy shifts. It suggests the early adopter phase is ending.
So what does this all mean? We've seen major shifts in corporate strategy, from restructuring to centralization, plus a strong push from Malaysian regulators.
And globally, the AI race and these tariff-driven commodity markets just keep presenting surprising twists.
Which forces us to ask an important question.
Is this global EV slowdown just a cyclical correction? Or does it signal a fundamental limit on how quickly consumers will accept battery tech without, further breakthroughs in range and charging infrastructure?
We will certainly keep diving deeper into those issues. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. If you want more concise and insightful analysis, please subscribe to the Malaysia Money Matters podcast.
We'll be back soon with more insights. Hey there, thanks for tuning in. If you would like a deeper dive into all the investment opportunities from today's news, subscribe to my newsletter at moneymatters.substack.com. I will be sharing a deeper analysis of the key investment opportunities from today's news, including what makes these opportunities stand out and how they fit into the broader market trends. By subscribing to the Malaysia Money Matters newsletter, you will also get exclusive insights on my watch list and portfolio and fundamental reports on Malaysian listed companies.